The average adult can read about 300 words per minute, while the average 11 to 14-year-old can read about 150 to 204 words a minute. Now, I'm literally the only person in my family who can read a 120-page book in under an hour and a 300-page book in less than 2 weeks. Now, because of this, my favorite time of year is the Sharjah Book Fair. And when it rolls around, my parents will buy me any number of books I ask, as they know it will not be a waste of money. Once those books are in my line of sight, I will read them non-stop. No, I will not stop at all until I finish it. I've spent many a sleepless night finishing those books, and I love the smell of just the pages, the thrilling storyline, and the gripping lore. Yet, ironically, whenever I'm reading, my mom is my worst enemy. She will barge into my room with those fiery eyes, look directly at me through my book, burning holes in it. And then the plethora of spears of sharp questions stab me. Come clean this or that up. That is a question that she will ask me 9 to 10 times a day. And I bet you at least 8 times out of 10, that is when I'm reading. Now, despite all of this, I managed to read over 180 books in the span of 5 years. Now, to get something like that, you have to start somewhere. So I started from one of the best and most thrilling 5-book series ever, The Maze Runner. I still remember the excitement of each word on that page. I still remember the heart racing, the blood curdling, and the excitement of each page. And let me tell you, I would have reread that at least 10 times if it weren't in the back of my cupboard. Now, you could see that I'm what most people would call a nerd. I've devoted my life to reading. And because of that, I became set on making every square inch of my bookshelf filled with a 300-page book with no pictures and a popular title. Now, because of my veteran's pass to book fairs, I understood the ups and downs of reading. This wonderful hobby can have its torturous times. Exhibit A is when you basically just have to open your book, find your page, and then the entire galaxy needs saving. You need to blow up a second Death Star and feed that rancor that you own for some reason. Now, it's not just the people around you who is against you. It's also your schedule. I bet at least 90% of you haven't picked up a book because of this excuse. I don't have time, maybe I'll do it later. And I'll have to admit, it has been happening to me as well, so we'll call it even. And I have to mention the pain in the neck that it is to find a place in your house or living space where nobody's screaming like an absolute gamer every 5 seconds. In summary, the world is against you and wants you bored. So, what do? You look at your laptop, a screen, or something like that to consume fast-moving content. And when you consume that, you get anxiety attacks. But who cares? It's entertaining. So why not fuse reading and that together to create an engineering marvel? And yes, I did just smoothly transition into the next part of my speech. Now, some of you may have heard of the Google Glass project, which was, alas, a huge fail. However, I believe there's something more. What if we took the hindrance that is glasses and made them something amazing? These reading glasses, no pun intended, would make the world a better place, as you would educate people with the snap of a finger. Let me direct you to the screen to show you what I think these are capable of. I've made a short video with minimal editing skills to explain this. That snap turned on the display. This is the first page of the Maze Runner series. Now you can see that it's completely see-through. However, you can still read it very well. Now you can use these gestures to zoom in, and if you click in the general direction of heat, you get the definition on Google. I believe that this is an engineering marvel, as you wouldn't need to own a book or that huge book cover. You just need your glasses. And that is amazing. You don't need to lug around many books just to read. And since this has the capabilities of a computer, it would be very, very fun to use. Now, you might have millions of questions asking how these would fail. I agree, as this is just an idea. One of your questions might be, isn't this a privacy issue? You can see right through the glasses. Well, as seen on the OnePlus Concept 1 phone by McLaren, we would know that glass could tint itself. Using this to our advantage, we could make this completely private. No one except you would see what you are viewing. And next, you might inquire, how would this recognize hand gestures? Well, we've seen in the actual original Google Glass that it could recognize hand gestures. If you did a heart with your hands, it would take a photo. And we could incorporate this into this. And finally, you might ask one of the biggest questions. How would this mimic the feeling of a book? Well, everybody knows that a book is one of the best things to hold. And you couldn't get that if you used just nothing in front of you. And to that, I shrug and say, who knows what could happen in the next year? Technology is so advanced today, who knows what will happen in the next year when things go boom? We could have gloves that could mimic the feeling and texture of a piece of paper, or something even better. Now, in conclusion, we are exhausted at the end of a day. Instead of getting rid of those up and downs by reading a book, we look at our screens and we consume these fast-moving content. However, if we could mix them together, it would allow society to be a little bit of a better place, as we would educate people by letting them do something that they love. And with that, I conclude my speech. Thank you.